Hello, this is Mark Smith with Family Tree Counseling Associates, and I'm finishing up my 5th video of the day. And we're going to be talking about the pain that your spouse has caused you. It's a gift, and it's an opportunity for you to grow in working on your issues. It's a gift, and it's a growth opportunity. I've got a lady I've been working with for some time, and her husband really did do some things that really hurt her. And in group therapy, I keep saying, your pain's a gift, your pain's a gift, and she usually curses me jokingly, but she knows it is a gift, in fact. When your spouse hurts you more deeply than you've ever been hurt, it really is sort of a natural but a pretty unenlightened first reaction to feel really angry and to feel victimized. You want to punish, you want to blame, you want to cuss, you want to yell, you want to beat them up, you want to bring them to therapy and have the therapist beat them up, you want to attack them, you want to shame them, and otherwise castigate them because they're the bad guy. You're the victim, they're the bad guy. That's why a lot of men hate coming to therapy, because they've done hurtful, goofy stuff that has got them in trouble with their wife, and their wife has been raging, criticizing, shaming, emasculating, and otherwise putting them down. And they've been to 2 other therapists, and therapy basically, let's beat up on Joe because Joe is a total jerk, and Joe's getting tired of that. So I show up in the waiting room, and Joe's there, clearly doesn't want to be there, and I want to pat him on the shoulder and say, dude, you're in the right place. We're going to find out what's true. We're going to eliminate any victim thinking, and both of you are going to be feeling a whole lot better before too very long. But, in marriage, you marry somebody when you're young, and they say all these wonderful things. I'm never going to quit loving you, and, I'm going to love you as Christ loved the church. No pressure. Just love you as well as Christ loved the church. And then over time, you end up not loving them so well at all, and you look over, your spouse looks over, and you're the one holding the smoking gun. Of course you're the bad guy. You're the one who said that you'd love them like Christ loved the church, and you're working too much, you're raging too much, you're drinking too much, and you had an affair or several. But let me tell you this, people, there's never, ever, ever been a victim in marriage. It doesn't exist. We always pick exactly the right person. And what qualifies them as the right person is they're especially talented at hurting us. That's what love is. You find somebody who's especially talented at hurting you. But what I just shared with you is the most freeing and powerful truth in marital therapy and in therapy in general. There's a man named Harville Hendrix who's written a book called Getting the Love You Want. And he has been on Oprah 17 times before Oprah got off her show, and before she had that other fella on there, he was the therapist who was on there the most. Harville Hendrix, Getting the Love You Want, best marriage counseling book ever written, because he espouses this concept of you married the right person, and they're a gift, and it's Mother Nature's way of healing you. It's your best opportunity for healing. And I have literally saved hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of marriages just with this one concept. This is the most important concept in therapy, and certainly in marriage counseling. If both parties of a couple really get this truth, then they shift from adversaries who aren't listening to therapy buddies who become wonderful listeners. Victim-y thinking is cancer. It's cancer. The number one cause of divorce is victim mentality. The number two cause of divorce is victim mentality. The number three cause of divorce is victim mentality. On forever. It's not money. It's not in-laws. It's not sex. It's victim mentality, I assure you. If you have had victim mentality, it has to be cut out of you. I've had so many people with victim thinking. It's just wrong thinking. They don't know any better. Come in and I challenge how they think. Stephen Covey, in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said that if you want to be somebody who changes somebody significantly and quickly, the way you do that is you change how they think. You want to help somebody quickly? Change their paradigm, change how they think. And that's what we do at Family Tree Counseling. I had a minister friend of mine one time on the basketball court. His name was Dan. Hello, Dan, if you're watching this. Last I heard, he was in Tucson. Good man. And he was pastor of a local church here on Spring Mill Road. And on the basketball court, he asked me one day, he said, "Mark, what's the key to marriage counseling?" And I think he was trying to find out if I was a good counselor, a good Christian counselor, and I think I failed. I am a Christian, but I don't use a Christian biblical-based approach. I use what I think is the most effective approach. And so I told him, I said, the key to marriage counseling is to enlighten the person who feels victimized to the notion, to the paradigm, to the truth that they've never been victimized in their marriage. And if I can enlighten the person or persons in a marriage to that truth, we can fix anything. We can fix infidelity in a marriage and fix the marriage and turn it into a lifelong, happy marriage. But you really do need your thinking challenged. These 5 videos that I've made today are all on the same subject, and that is, you're not a victim, you're not a victim, you're not a victim. So I think I did fail my basketball buddy's little test, whether or not he would send me people, but what I said was true. The key to marriage counseling is enlightening people who mistakenly think that they've been victimized. I look at your heart as a garden, and victim mentality is a weed. It's a fast-growing weed. It'll grow into an oak tree. So when people first come in, I might have an oak tree in their heart, and it's blocking out the sun, keeping anything from growing. It'll make you bitter and dark and miserable. And I help people to really get healthy and to change how they think and to connect with the truth of you picked your spouse to reenact your childhood. And that's why you liked them. I had a guy come in and he says, "Mark, my picker, how I pick women, it's broken." He goes, "Every woman I've ever dated has been both especially mean and especially crazy." And I said, "My friend, your picker is not broken, it's flawless. You're batting 1,000%. If there's a mean, crazy woman at a party, you'll pick her out and take her home." It's just that's what we all have pickers, and we all pick the right person, and none of our pickers are broken. In our culture, I believe that there exists a very common misperception about individuals who seek and are in therapy. Sometimes they are categorized as weak and whiny and blame-shifting, ungrateful people who get relief from some of their misery by dumping their load of venomous anger about their spouse, their parents, their children, their boss at their therapist's door. And if my clients come in and do that, I'll give them about 2 minutes of that so I can figure out what their story is, and then I'll stop it. And if I have to, if we have to really go after it, we will. Because therapy is about truth. And I tell people, if you come into my office, I assume you're coming to learn. And I'm gonna hold up the truth to you. I'm gonna hold up a mirror, and you're either gonna get it or I'm gonna chase you out of the building. But you're not gonna sit there and vent and triangle and gripe about your spouse to me. It's not gonna do you any good. And generally, a lot of times, that is how therapy starts, because that people don't know any better. They just think, well, he's the bad guy. He had the affair. But people who come in and they vent and they triangle, I tell them, you can pay my normal rate of $175 an hour, but if you vent and triangle, it's $1,000. Because I don't like being vomited on. I don't like being thrown up on. So I get people to own your life is about a series of your choices. And it's about your lack of boundaries that has caused and built the very situation that you're in. I said in an earlier video today, you're griping about your spouse, but of all the people on the entire planet, you picked them to have children with, and you picked them to be solely in charge of loving you, and you've stayed with them for 20 years or 25 years or 15 years. So let me tell you a story along these lines. A fellow was on a mountain, and he was a rescuer, and he saw this frozen snake laying on the ground, and he wanted to help the poor frozen snake. So he built a fire, and he took the snake and he put it down by the warm fire, and the snake in about an hour was fine. And the snake curled up next to him and reached out and bit him. And the snake was deadly poisonous, and the man was going to die. And the guy said, "Well, Mr. Snake, why in the world would you have done that to me? I mean, I am a good guy, and I saved your life." And the snake goes, "Well, that's just what snakes do. Why did you pick me?" I'm running out of batteries here, so if I close off, thanks for watching the video. Join our channel, visit our website, familytreecounseling.com. I'll go as long as I can before my battery goes out. So life is fair. You pick who you pick. And the moral of that story isn't that your spouse is a snake, is they're consistent. They've consistently been who they are through the years, except for that early enmeshment time when you first started dating. But for many years, they've been who they are, and it's who you needed them to be. And they've been consistent. And you keep picking up the snake and picking up the snake and picking up the snake. So the process of therapy begins when people's psychological walls that they've built come down, and they come down many times, most often as a result of relationship pain. And then they come to therapy, and when you come to therapy, that's when we teach you your spouse isn't your problem, your marriage isn't your problem, your marriage is the cure. Your marriage is an opportunity, it's a gift for you to be able to heal your unresolved childhood wounds. When you were growing up, you were wounded, and then as a teenager, that is how your sexuality got calibrated. It's who you learned how to like who you like. Had a fella, he said, the only women I'm attracted to, they're mean and they're crazy. And that's just how I'm wired, and I know it. And I can pick nice ladies all I want to, but it just really doesn't work for me. There's just no chemistry. So I got folks in the background here. So what love is we pick people who unearth wounds from our childhood that we unconsciously are attracted to and choose to bring into our lives. Individuals who have really the same qualities as your mom and dad, you'll find. What love is, it's a time-release bomb that eventually is going to go off. And it's eventually going to tear down your walls. And when the bomb goes off, that's when we see people seeking help. And they come in, and that's their time to get busy working on their family of origin issues. That is the meaning of love. I just explained the meaning of love. So that's worth something to you. So here's some therapeutic opportunities for growths. Affairs, having a controlling spouse, having a narcissistic spouse, having an alcoholic spouse, having a workaholic spouse, having a raging spouse, having a spouse who lacks depth. This is an opportunity for you to work on yourself and to resolve your issues, and then they're either going to get healthy or you will have to leave that relationship. But it starts with you understanding that Mother Nature has set you up. Mother Nature has provided you with an opportunity to fix yourself, because this person did you the great service of tearing down your psychological defense system. So this is the one foundational truth that family tree counseling is built on, and really, in my mind, all effective marriage counseling is built on. So sorry for the folks in the background. We got to roll sometimes when we make videos, and it looks like we're going to get the whole video in. Love is meant to help you grow. You're not a victim. You've never been victimized in your marriage. Do visit our channel, Family Tree Counseling, and check out our website, familytreecounseling.com, for books on affair recovery. You'll learn more about You've Not Been Victimized, about a book on shame, on abandonment, and on marriage counseling, and on the basics of recovery. So thank you for watching, and God bless.